In the biggest investment ever in an Indian e-commerce firm by a single investor, Japan's SoftBank has pumped in $627 million in Snapdeal. What does this mean for Snapdeal and for the e-commerce space? Joining me now live is Kunal Bahl, co-founder of Snapdeal. Kunal, such a pleasure to talk to you here on NDTV. Let me first start by congratulating you on that blockbuster funding, $627 million. The total funding by Snapdeal now over $1 billion in 2014 alone. A Diwali gift, as you tweeted. Tell us more about how you intend to use these funds.
Yeah, thank you, Shweta. This is, of course, a great day for our team and great validation for all the focus with which we worked over the last few years at Snapdeal. Our goal and our vision is to create life-changing experiences for 1 million small businesses in India over the next 3 years. And we are well on our way to that journey with over 50,000 small businesses successfully selling on our platform. It is that focus and that philosophy that must have resonated with Son-san at SoftBank, and he may have seen what in Snapdeal what he probably saw in Alibaba 15 years ago. Our view is that we are really a technology company, and we want to use this capital to invest significantly into our technology infrastructure and build a great platform that makes it very, very easy for anyone with an intention to become an entrepreneur by selling online within 1 hour. And I'm pretty sure that with all the investments we'll make, we'll get there.
Right, impressive funding numbers there by Snapdeal, but the big question really remains on the valuation of online retail firms like yours and your rivals. Of course, this coming just 4 months after your rival, Flipkart also announced a round of funding of $1 billion, taking up its valuation also. Can you give us a sense of the valuation of your company today after this round of funding? Some figures are pegging it at about $2 billion or more.
Yeah, look, the valuation is just a number. It's important that subsequent rounds of investment are done at premiums to the previous rounds so that existing investors feel that value creation is happening for them. And that is what has happened in this transaction, where it's been done at a premium to the last round. So we are very excited about that. The incoming investors are excited about it, and the management team is very excited about it as well. But it's honestly not about the amount of money we have in the bank or the valuation. It's going to be how we spend it. And that's what I'm spending most of my energy on.
Kunal, it's also going to be about how sustainable is the revenue model for online firms like yours. And that's the big question, especially if we look back at the dot-com bust. Are the revenue models now sustainable? What's different this time around that gives you the assurance that firms like yours are here to stay?
It's very hard for me to comment about others, but what I can tell you very decisively about our company, where our business model is very similar to Alibaba's, where Alibaba generated $5 billion of EBITDA last year. So that notion of e-commerce companies don't make money is absolutely not true. And globally, the largest and the most profitable e-commerce businesses are all marketplaces, pure marketplaces like Snapdeal, where all our role in the ecosystem is to provide a technology platform for anyone to become a seller and start supplying locally but selling nationally, and we just make a small success fee on everything that is sold on our platform.
Right, Kunal, one really worries a lot about the kind of wars we are seeing between the online retail players. We saw, of course, what happened on the Big Billion Day. That was a disappointment coming from your rival, Flipkart. In fact, we have plenty of our viewers writing in questions, tweeting questions to you. Many actually asking, looking into the disappointment. There's a question from Samir, who's tweeted saying, looking onto the disappointment during this Diwali, the delayed delivery of orders through third-party logistics, what are the lessons learned? And many people actually asking about deliveries, logistics. Does that remain the key challenge for players like you?
I think this year the growth in e-commerce was not foreseen by anyone, including us. And the growth has been nothing short of exponential. And so the infrastructure is lagging a little bit on vis-a-vis the growth in the actual orders that are getting placed on e-commerce sites. But I think this is a temporary phase. Give it a few months or maybe a year, and I'm pretty sure that all our third-party logistics partners will match up and build the relevant capacity to account for similar surges in sales next Diwali.
Okay, I'd like to take forward the point you've made about the exponential growth, something that even you hadn't anticipated. Have you been taken by surprise with the kind of orders you've been receiving, the kind of sales that you've been receiving? And also, how much of the overall retail pie have you managed to capture? Because numbers tell us you're still very small when we look at, by you I mean the entire online retail industry is still very small when you look at the overall retail pie. Given the lack of internet penetration in this country, you still have a long way to go.
I think there is tremendous headroom in this business, and I actually don't see it as whether it's a percentage of retail or not. I see our business as a percentage of total consumption in India. India's consumption economy is the largest as a percentage of GDP amongst India, China, and the US. And we have to see digital commerce as a percentage of overall consumption. That is minuscule in India right now. And I think that's the huge opportunity, because digital commerce through a virtual marketplace like Snapdeal will ensure there is more efficiency, transparent prices, high quality products, and local entrepreneurship getting encouraged in our country.
Any worries, any downside risks in the online business right now, or is it all looking happy right now?
You know, the challenges in this business, like in any other business, are many, and they keep changing with time. At different points in time, we are always looking at different things, different problems we need to solve. But overall, at a macro level, we are very excited by the opportunity and excited by the purpose of our business of creating these life-changing experiences for the millions of small businesses in India over the next decade.
Okay, Kunal, I have to also ask you about the fact that you today have become a role model for many, many young Indians. The fact that today you feature on the Fortune Under 40 most powerful people in business list. It's been a journey that you started only in 2010, and today here you are talking about an investment, a funding of $627 million coming from one single investor. How does it feel, and what's your message to many of those entrepreneurs who are trying to become yet another Kunal Bahl?
I think that's very kind of you, but I feel as paranoid about our business as I did when Rohit and I first started from the basement of the furniture market in Delhi. And we have not forgotten where we came from, and we remind our team every day that it's very important to be aggressive, thoughtful, purpose-driven, but also very humble. And that is very important to our culture. And we also believe that at the end of the day, only if our ecosystem is successful will we be successful. And the chase is not for more money, more valuation, more profits, or any of that sort. The chase should always be how can we move the needle for the country.
It's impressive that you talk about that, Kunal. Then when you're talking about moving the needle for the country, how large do you think the e-commerce space will be for India in the years to come? You yourself admit that the sales and the revenues that you've been seeing this year have been exponential, something that you had also not expected. What's the kind of numbers you're forecasting in the years to come? How large will be the Indian e-commerce space?
I think over the next 7 to 8 years, we could see this space become $100 billion. Up from probably $5 to $6 billion today.
All right, Kunal, we've been getting in a number of callers and tweets, as I mentioned. We've got a businessman from Hyderabad, Ashok Thakur, joining in with a question. Go ahead, Mr. Thakur, with your question.
Hi, Kunal. Kunal, I have one question for you. Can you hear me, please? Yeah.
Yes.
My question is this online business is only for economies of scale? Do you see any scope for a niche player? I just want to understand from you. You are in the midst of this business. I want to start an online business, so I just wanted to find out on this, please. I would appreciate.
Sure. So, sir, there is immense opportunity. Nothing makes me happier when I get questions like the one that you've posed to me right now. 30% of all the sellers on Snapdeal, merchants on Snapdeal, are first-time women entrepreneurs. And if a woman who's taking care of her family very generously, sitting at home and spending a lot of time with them, can create a business on her own and start selling online and make a lot of profit that eventually can run her household, then anyone can do it. And I believe that what e-commerce is presenting and what a platform like Snapdeal is presenting to each individual, irrespective of their age, gender, demographic, socioeconomic background, is just egalitarian enablement to be successful like anyone else in the country.
All right, Kunal, I also have another question coming in online, and that's really on the kind of price cuts, discounts that you offer on your products. Is that sustainable? Because many people, many retailers on the ground simply say what you're offering online is not sustainable, these flash sales are not sustainable, and eventually you'll have to up the rates when it comes to all those products you're selling online.
So I can't speak for other market players. However, Snapdeal is a pure marketplace. We have no products of our own. We don't hold any inventory. We don't own any inventory. Everything that is sold on Snapdeal is actually products of other merchants. So when we say we are doing $2 or $3 or $5 billion in sales, it's actually not Snapdeal sales. It's sales of the partners and the merchants, the small businesses on Snapdeal. Many of them have different economics. And while there may be one merchant who wants to make 5% margin, there may be another who is happy with 50 rupees based on his economics, based on his overheads in his business. And so we don't discriminate in terms of who gets to sell, but between the merchants selling the same product, they would compete amongst themselves to offer a great price, the same exact way they do it in the offline world.
All right, another caller, Vijay, joins us from Delhi. Go ahead, Vijay, very quickly ask your question.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Kunal. Wonderful to see your show here.
Hello,
now, my question to you is, with regard to the recent print advertisements which we had seen, the $1 billion sale or your advertisement on the same day itself, I wanted to buy some electronics, but then the next day I saw various of the reports saying, like by the LG Electronics or even the companies like Sony, that they do not authorize you to sell. And then if any customer buying the products from these online players, they are responsible for their own purchases. So now just wanted to understand, as a consumer, because you are advertising some price, of course, they are lucrative enough for me to buy. But then if you're not authorized, then where do I go?
So actually, that's an excellent question, sir. Typically, we would not be authorized anyways because we are just a technology company. We're just a technology platform. We are not the product owner. The merchant who's selling the product to you is authorized. And if you ever have a problem, just write to me. My email is kunal.bahl@snapdeal.com and I'll solve it for you.
All right, you've got this young entrepreneur there telling you that he's there to address all the problems, talking to all the consumer-based people who are now starting to shop online. Kunal Bahl, co-founder of Snapdeal.com, talking to us on a day the online firm has gone ahead and snapped up $627 million from Japanese telecom and internet giant SoftBank, making it the largest ever investment by a single investor in the online space. Kunal Bahl, many thanks for sparing time to talk to us. Pleasure to have you on the show.